My name is Henry Wirth. I'm the chairman of B'nai B'rith Retirement Villages. I've been chairman for a dozen years, and I'm retired from normal occupation, and this was a job that fell into my lap after retirement. We're here in the library of Princess Gardens, which is our village in Rose Bay in Sydney, and this is a complex where we have 56 units. We have 64 people who are resident here. It's an independent living environment, and it provides a nice, quiet home for them for whatever they can manage independent living. B'nai B'rith Retirement Villages has its genesis in the 1950s. One of the principles in Judaism is tzedakah, which is charity, and the early members of B'nai B'rith here in Australia were usually the first or second generation of people who had been through the Holocaust. So they were the younger people who had survived the Holocaust, or their parents who'd been completely deprived of all their assets and all their everything to do with their life, and were in an elderly state and required support and comfort and a place to live that was adequate. So the people who were in B'nai B'rith in those days started gathering money, and by 1964 they had sufficient to build the first village up at Wahroonga. And from that small acorn, if you like, we have branched out. We have two villages. We have one at Wahroonga called Kadima Gardens, as I said, and we have Princess Gardens here at Rose Bay. We were originally called B'nai B'rith Parents' Home, but now, in reflection of the changing demographics and the fact that there are fewer parents of the original B'nai B'rith members, we are now called B'nai B'rith Retirement Villages. The village, when it's commenced at Wahroonga, had 18 units, and so that was the start. Today, of course, we've got 103 units plus a couple of apartments that are used by our resident caretakers, plus we've branched out in a semi-joint venture with Jewish Care into having an apartment for people with certain disabilities, where we run the apartment, own the apartment, and Jewish Care provides the support. So we've moved away from just being relatively straightforward accommodation provider for parents of B'nai B'rith members to providing much more general accommodation facility for the elderly across Sydney area, and in that respect for the Jewish community of Sydney. I suppose that the most important thing to realise is that in the last 50 years we have moved from being an organisation that was generated by a few people pressing people to make a donation to assist in the construction, to effectively a company that has assets of about $50 million. So this is where the difference is. We're now quite a reasonable sized player, and we have to deliver in that way. I mean, the requirements under work health and safety, under corporations law, are such that the directors of the company, who are volunteers, have the same level of responsibilities as the directors of BHP. And we don't get the same sort of salary. In fact, we get nothing. Our mission is, and has been for a long time, to provide affordable accommodation for senior people within the Jewish community who require this type of accommodation. And I think we have been very, very successful. We run at close to 100% occupancy rate. That's for 103 plus the 104 apartments that we have. And that's very much in line with everything that is B'nai B'rith generated.